chat before this starts. So good morning, you all right?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Okay, so yeah, for those of you that are watching, please let us know, comment in the comments below or react to the post. As you'll notice, we are going live from a different angle this week than the original post. So I'll connect this video up with the original post after the live. But yeah, technical issues, but we're all there now. So yeah, if you're watching, please let us know any questions you've got along the way. Again, please speak up too. For those of you that don't know me, maybe you see me on someone else's feed right now. My name is Jess. I'm a brand consultant, so I help businesses make sure that they're using the budgets wisely. Make sure your marketing is working through making sure you've got everything that you need to have a successful and thriving brand. Far beyond what you look like, we look at your culture, your vision, your strategies. We look at behavioral science within your marketing, all these sort of stuff. So if you're intrigued, let me know and I can tell you a bit more about that. Stephen, do you want to quickly introduce yourself before we dive in?
Yes, of course. Good morning, Jess. Good morning, everybody. My name's Stephen Lerman from Chameleon BDS. We are an outsourced business development service. So if you're looking to get in front of new customers, but don't have the resource to do so in-house, or don't like to, or just don't want to pick up the phone, then you can give me a call. I'd be more than happy to have a chat and see how we can get you in front of the people you need to help grow your business.
Amazing. So this week's topic, brand personalities. So how can you stand out using your personality as a brand? So the way that I've gone about this in the post is all about imagining your brand as a person. So every one of us is unique. Me and Stephen, we're very different from each other, but we get on as well. So you've got them similarities, but every person is different in their own way, and that's got to be the same for your business as well. So no bother looking at competition, copying people that it's working for them, so it's got to work for me. We've got to look inside. We've got to look at what is right for our business and what makes our business unique. So again, in the post, I always put it in the sense of, the way that you look doesn't define who you are. You don't want people to make judgments or kind of have an impression of who you are by how you look. Your hair color, your eye color, your name, anything like that. So why a lot of the time as business owners do we expect people to instantly like us or judge us based on our logo and our color scheme and our fonts and things like that? So this is why your branding goes really beyond the visuals. So we want to be known for, just like your business. So that can be made up of in us, it's made up of our experiences, our relationships, our characteristics, our traits, and it's the same for your business. It's made up of your vision, your mission, your values, your purpose, who you are, what team you've got on board, what your strengths are, who are your team. All these things make that culture. Stephen, is it something that you've looked at before, your brand personality, your business personality?
It's a funny one, that, because the first thing that people see when they engage with you is yourself. So I think you have to do something to stand out. Like, there are people that have like, say Una, for example, pink hair. It's the first thing that makes you noticeable, and then from there, if you like what you see in the first instance, I think they'll engage with you more. I don't know what it is about me. I mean, I tried to change the color of my beard. I want to go white. So yeah, it was brown to begin with and grey, and now I'm trying to go white because I think that'll look really cool. But it's the first thing that people see that will make them inquisitive, or want to know more. Um, so I mean, but again, for me, it's a little bit tough because I'm on the phone. People don't really see me. So my brand is my chameleon logo, you know, and everybody always comments on it. So if you've got something that's striking or a little bit different, then people will engage because they're just naturally inquisitive and want to know more. But it's quite an interesting one. This I'm excited to see what you've got to say.
I think that's a really good point to kind of keep talking about a little bit more as well, because the way that your logo, your business name, Una's hair, things like that, they're a great way of people recognizing and remembering you. You think of McDonald's, you've got the golden arches, you've even got that whistle that they do in the marketing. Little things like that. It's a great way of people recognizing you and noticing you But if that's all that you're doing, how do people know what else to do and how else to feel and how else to take action? So, you know, it's great looking great and having this visual that stands out and hooks people, but then people will just walk past it. Say you say your product is on a shelf in the supermarket, they'll just walk past it and go, oh, that looks really cool, but then go and pick up your competitor and put that in the basket, because for some reason that's kind of triggering them to take action and not just looking great. So it's a really, really good point, like you're saying, and it's important to get that hook, and it is important for people to recognize you easily. You know, it's not too complicated. They can notice a color, notice a symbol, and they know it's you. But yeah, looking beyond that as well, what else can we do for them to take action? So one small part of this, of what I do with my clients, which is what I want to share with you this morning, is using archetypes. So have you heard of archetypes before, Stephen?
I've heard of the word, but in this particular context, I haven't. So please do tell.
For anyone else, if you've heard of archetypes, let me know your experience. If you've not, again, just, I don't know, curious emoji or something, just something to let us know that you're there. So archetypes. So archetypes have been a thing for a while now. You know, they were created by Carl Jung. If you've heard of him, he's quite famous. Back in his day. And he's come up with this concept after his research and exploration. He came up with this concept that people fit into certain pockets of characteristics and personalities. So long story short, this wheel, it looks like a wheel. I'm going to hopefully share my screen and show you in a second. We'll see how that goes. So there's a wheel that shows all these different personalities, and writers took this on board. So novelists and you know, people like that took this on board to define their characters. So they would have maybe one of each of these personas to be able to include all, you know, different types of personalities and characteristics in the writing. Films still adopt it today. So if you're watching a horror film, you'll still have that one jokey, gestury character that lightens the mood and just makes you feel good every now and again. You'll have the mother character that's mothering everyone and kind of worrying and making sure everyone's okay. You have the rebel, you know, the person that's stepping out of the boundaries. So you've still got all these different personas. Now, over the past few years, brands have adopted this this way of thinking, and brands have wanted to sit into certain personas. So, you know, an example. I'll do a quick example I've got on the slides, but I'll just do it anyway. M&M's, you know, they're a jester, jokery brand, so they fit into that persona and that personality. So defining through archetypes helps them understand. So M&M have gone, okay, we know we're the jokers. What does that mean? How can we communicate that? So you can find out your traits. You can explore your vision, your mission, how all that ties together. Because again, alignment is key too. So I want to quickly show you this to hopefully make more sense. But does that kind of make sense as I'm going along?
Yep, absolutely.
Morning, Liam, by the way, as well. Great to have you. Thanks for commenting. My little symbol is saying no one's watching, but obviously you are, so that's all good. Right. Any thoughts or questions so far, Stephen, whilst I smoothly get these slides up?
No, but it's funny because I'd never even thought about archetypes, but now that you mention it, I suddenly think to myself, "Oh my God, absolutely!" Because it's the same in pretty much every horror movie. You've got that type of those different types of roles. You've got the Joker, you've got the person that always gets killed very quickly, at the beginning of the movie. So it's now that you point it out, I'm thinking, oh yeah, absolutely, I see it. But I'm interested to see how that fits into into business, and with brands.
Yeah, it is really interesting, even seeing the comparisons. So this should work. I might just not be able to. No, it's not
Oh,
going to work.
Liam's just mentioned great beard, Steve. Thanks, Liam.
We do need Liam back on, and you can have some sort of beard war.
A beard off.
Beard up. Morning, Matt, as well. Great to see you on here. I know you say that you do catch them, but great to see you catching them live. Okay, so I can't get these slides up, so bear with it. I'm just going to narrate and do all the hand movements and see how we get on. What I will do though after the video, I'll put some slides, pictures of slides, or pictures of anything that I'm talking about in the comments. So again, read through that, or you maybe save the post and you can look back and check in, or give me a thumbs up or drop me a message and we can catch this up on a call. So yeah, another simple way of doing it. Right, archetype. So it's a wheel. There's 12 different personas on there. So like I just mentioned, M&M, they're a jester, jokery kind of brand. That's their persona. That's how they fit in. Let's look at different products within that market. Okay, so say you're getting some petrol and you're at the counter paying for your petrol and you get a bit peckish. So you're looking at the side and there's all these chocolate boys, isn't there? They're all there right next to the counter where you're waiting for the person in front of you to hurry up and you just pick up a chocolate bar. It's quite clever, but they're all there. So M&M's going to be there as well, but who else are going to be there? You've got Snickers, Kit Kat, all these different kind of brands, but similar products. Take away all the branding. Yeah, your Snickers have got nuts and, your Kit Kats might have a bit of fancy flavour, but they're all pretty much similar products. If you like chocolate, you're going to like pretty much a lot of things on that shelf. So how do they stand out? And a big part of that is through the personality and the persona, the characteristics. So, like I said, M&M is the jester, the joker. So they're all about not taking life too seriously. They're all about making it fun, making you smile. So their adverts, can you recall their recent adverts where, there's one where the M&M characters are in the back of the car fighting and she turns around, doesn't she, and shouts, if you don't pack it in, I'll break you up or something like that. And, it's that sort of comic. There's the other one where the wife is in bed with one of the M&M characters and the husband comes home early. Have you seen that one?
I've seen that's a while ago, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a while ago, but
yeah.
kind of similar theme. When they're opening the cupboard and the M&M characters are throwing things at them, throwing M&Ms at them, aren't they, to choose M&Ms out of the cupboard. So hopefully this is making sense, me describing the adverts rather than you actually seeing them. But it shows that all their marketing, all their communication, all their culture is all about making sure you're having a laugh, making sure you've got a smile on your face, making sure you're not taking life too seriously. Skittles, taste the rainbow, eat the rainbow. There's a guy milking a giraffe in their advert. Just obscure things.
But with the Skittles one, it's, when they touch something, it becomes like a million and one Skittles. Like the guy was, I think, was doing table and chairs or something, moving something, and he touched it, and it just disappeared and became a Skittles. Or even the Haribo. That every time I think Haribo, I think of babies because all the kids talk, all the adults talk with baby voices. I mean, that is brilliant.
That's a really another good example, the Haribo one. It's just, it makes you laugh and you remember them because they make you laugh. So you remember Haribos because they've got that funny, quirky advert. And when you're pulling out the little sweets, you're thinking of, I always think of the police officers in the car, that one. And they're talking about the different sweets. So again, that's how they stay in your head. That's how they stand out. My dream. Oh, okay. So we make sure that they that they stand out in that way. So let's go back to who else is going to be next to that product as well. So you've got Snickers. Snickers that are sat next to M&Ms. They're not so much a joker brand, are they? They're not so much kind of cracking them jokes every now and again. But the Snickers is the hero brand. They're all about making sure that that they're giving you everything that you need to be the best version of yourself. Okay, so just like the kind of coach character does in a film, where they're kind of egging you on all the time, and they're guiding you and kind of showing you how to do things and giving you everything you need. Nike is another example of this persona. They're all about use our running shoes and you'll be the fastest you've ever run. Things like that. So Snickers, yeah, they're recent adverts. So you've got the one that I show in the consultations that I do is when there's a bunch of people rapping, having like a rap off or whatever you call it. It's probably not what you call it. But they're kind of rapping and singing to each other, yeah? And one character does it amazingly. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then the other character steps in to do his bit and all of a sudden he turns into Elton John and he sings out this kind of ballad, and everyone's looking at him like, what? That's so off what we're doing. And then Snickers come in and say, you're not you when you're hungry, have a Snickers. So he eats the Snickers and then he turns into himself again, and he raps and does this song, and he wins the battle. So it's that sort of story. When they're saying, you're not you when you're hungry, here's a Snickers, have some nuts, and carry on. So they're kind of really the hero person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it just reminded me of the other Mara Snickers advert with the guy that's hungry, and he says, and all his friends say, "You're such a diva," and it's Joan Collins. Is it Joan Collins? You've not seen that one?
No. Oh
Oh
yeah,
my,
yeah,
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 yeah. Is in the changing rooms. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant. Yeah, bright. The association. It's amazing. Brilliant.
Yeah. I love
Because
it. And
it's
then
go on.
no, go on.
I was going to say it's all about consistency. The message. It's the consistent message, isn't it?
Yeah.
With
That's it. And then
the.
some of them have been doing that for a while, haven't they? Like, that's a pretty old one as well. So some of them variations of that advert, isn't it? And it is being consistent with that message, consistent with that the way you make people feel. If M&M's all of a sudden started, having a different communication without really an explanation, if they didn't have a rebrand, if they didn't pivot the business, and all of a sudden they just did they had this different persona about them, we'd start to think, oh, like what's going on here, and that distrust builds. So again, going back to treating your business like a person. If you meet someone and get on with them really well, you meet them a couple of times and you go, yeah, this person, like, how have we not known each other for longer? We just gel instantly. But then all of a sudden they start acting in a different way, or they start saying a story in a different way than what they've said it before, or something happens where you think, oh, like, can I trust you? Like, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. So you all of a sudden put that person at arm's length naturally because you don't want to get hurt. So it's the same with your business. If you all of a sudden change your message or change your persona, the people that are already following you, and there's always people already following you, even if you're getting little engagement on your things, there's always people looking and following and seeing what you're doing. So if you all of a sudden change that, they're going to take a step back and go, oh, I'm going to distance myself from you because I don't want to get hurt, or I don't want to get burnt, or that sort of experience that unfortunately a lot of us have with businesses and brands. So yeah, so Snickers, M&M's, two similar products next to each other on the shelf, but stand out very different. Kit Kat is an interesting one, because Kit Kat is an everyman brand. So they're the sidekick, the everyone's friend. So an everyman brand is accessible to anyone and everyone because they're making everyone feel equal. Everyone's welcome to the product. But there's a fine line between being open to everyone and everyone being able to use your product, to your marketing just being to everybody. So you've still got to be really specific in who you are. So I'll put some examples in the comments. I'll maybe put the links to the adverts so you can watch the 3 adverts yourself and kind of see how you can spot them. I'll definitely do that once we finish the live. So yeah, how does that help bring that to life? Have I helped talk about that without showing the slides?
Yeah, absolutely. But let me ask you a question. What about color? Is color important? Because that's part of your brand, isn't it, as well? I mean, so look at McDonald's. Let's take McDonald's for example. So McDonald's is red,
Yeah,
with the golden arches. Kit Kat, I remember Kit Kat. That's also red, isn't it, with the white
yeah,
logo? And it's the same. It's the consistent color, so everybody knows what to expect from
yeah,
Snickers, from Skittles, and from the likes of McDonald's. So I think color as well is absolutely vital. Change
yeah,
the color, and people are like, huh, what? Don't
yeah,
get it. And like you say, it's like changing the message, isn't it? And if because they don't, it's the association of
yeah,
everything, isn't it, that will create that loyalty.
yeah.
As well as being consistent and having your customers knowing exactly what you do, what So no, absolutely makes perfect sense.
And if McDonald's all of a sudden went purple and started doing everything purple and lilac and all these pastel colours without any explanation or without any kind of pivot or communication, you'd you'd naturally just be like, oh, that's a bit weird. Why are they doing that? And then you'd look into it, not find anything. So you'd think, oh, has something gone wrong? You know, are they trying to cover some up? You start to get suspicious and you start to get cautious. So yeah, color, great example. So once you've found out your persona, a lot of the time I like to get maybe 2 or 3 personas for a brand, because again, just to reiterate it as a person, not every introvert doesn't like people or socializing, or that sort of thing. Not every introvert is quiet. So you don't want to stereotype your personality, your brand, just as much as you don't want to stereotype people. So it's always good to look at the wheel, kind of do some discovery work to see where you fit, and then maybe have a secondary persona, or maybe another one as well, and have a percentage of, well, I'm 80% jester, but I'm also 20% hero, and how do I incorporate that in my communication? And then once you've done that, that can then help with your colors, your fonts, your imagery. So once kind of, say you're a jester brand, we're kind of just going off that theme this morning, and you want to make people smile, you want to stand out, you want to not take life too seriously, then you are going to be bright, vibrant colors that make you feel good. So red is a very a standout color, isn't it? You see red and you stop, you've got your attention. Some other than M&Ms, you've got the bright blue, it's really bright blue, isn't it? You've got yellow, all these bright colors. Another example that I kind of go off to show the importance of color as well. A lot of healthcare brands, dentists, doctors, things like that, you've got the blue and green maybe sometimes, because they're very calming colors. Blue is a very calm color, certain tone blue is a very calm color. So you want people to feel relaxed when they see your brand. You want them to walk into your building, if you've got blue painted walls, you want them to feel feel relaxed. I have brown at the back because that's my brand, and it's all about being grounded and present in what you're doing now, rather than looking too far in the future. It's all about being grounded. So say your local dentist opened up and they had red branding everywhere, red walls, red signage, the logo was red, everything was red. You'd walk past it and you'd stop and go, oh, what's that? Oh, it's a dentist. That's, oh, okay. You'd notice it. But when red kind of symbolizes stop, look, have my attention, sometimes death, blood, all that sort of like, instant reactions. Would you want to instantly feel like you want to go into that dentist when they've just got red everywhere? You'd just think pain, wouldn't you? You'd think, oh my God, if I go in there, I'm just going to, bleed, or, something's going to go wrong, or, there's that attention to it. So color is hugely important, and having the right color for your brand is hugely important. And that stems off this work in finding your persona. So it stems onto all different types of things within your business.
I had no idea about the color. Talking about dental surgeries and doctor surgeries. Now that you mention it, I'm looking back to when I visited, and yeah, that's like really soothing colors, pastel colors. Yeah, there's no like bold, like you say, like the red that would invoke blood and God forbid death or anything like that. So it's amazing. I didn't know so much thought went into it, even back then. I'm talking like when I first went to the doctors, like over 40 years ago, whatever. And I realize now, wow, it makes perfect sense.
Our emotions are influenced by everything. So even shapes, even if we see a circle and we see a square in a scenario, we feel a different emotion. Our emotions are so powerful. We're built on emotions, so they're triggered by anything and everything. So color, shape, even your fonts that you're using. Have you just scrolled through Google and gone, yeah, that font will do? Or have you thought, okay, how do I want people to feel when they're reading my content? When you're reading an old school telegraph kind of font to when you're reading a hand script calligraphy font, you get a different feel. You get a different kind of approach. So yeah, it's all relevant, and it's all relevant in our psychology as well, in our minds. And again, going back to the importance of really understanding your audience, is that you can see, okay, what triggers my audience to feel calm, what triggers my audience to feel that sense of urgency, that what I've got for them will help their problems now. what is it that I want to trigger to get them emotions? And then that's when you can go into your color and things like that, and your fonts and shapes. So yeah, it's super interesting.
Let me ask you, Jess, do you have any, like a couple of top tips for how to increase brand loyalty for newbies, people just starting out and wanting to, hit the ground running? What would be your top couple of tips to say, okay, this is how I would start off by increasing your brand loyalty?
Yeah. Well, one, alignment, having consistency, being consistent. If you've got a message, if you've got a visual theme, whatever you've got, stick with it until you maybe got time to go into more detail on it and really explore it. But just stick with it. I know we get bored very easily. We're creating post images and writing content for the same business day in, day out. We're communicating the same business day in, day out. So to us, what's boring? I use purple all the time. Like, I might use a bit of yellow. You know, don't do it. Keep that consistency. Other people are watching and other people are seeing, and when you completely change, that's when that distrust happens. So keep consistent. You can simply put things into a bit of a folder in your computer. So say you have done some social media images or some content, save it all in the same place and keep looking back at it. Oh yeah, I did that layout last time, I'll do that layout again. Or keep it all in one place to prevent you going off on a bit of a tangent, just trying different things. Another way that you can make sure you use the same assets and being consistent visually as well is working on Canva. So Canva is a great tool for people that are doing their own design work. You maybe not got the time or the budget to outsource it, so you're looking at doing it yourself. Canva is a great tool for that, and you can actually upload your own brand kit on Canva. So your own logo, your colors, your fonts. So whenever you're creating anything new, you can just click a new template and it will automatically put it into your colors and fonts. So that's another great way of keeping that consistency. Making sure that number two is making sure that you explore these other avenues of your brand. So instead of just thinking, oh, purple's my favorite color, so I'm going to use purple, think about more about the persona of your business, your values, what you stand for, and then do these colors reflect that? There's a tool that I can give you. It's a DIY brand audit. Bunch of questions on there just for you to think and explore about who your brand is. So you can easily just download that, print it out, and scribble on it and use that as a bit of a guidance. Another thing, you can easily Google color psychology, archetypes, Google these sort of things to find your own research about what they are. Or again, drop me a message and I can send you all the research that I've got. So that's a couple of big tips, because it's a couple of things that a lot of businesses fall into the trap of missing. So that kind of being bored and wanting to try something new, it's so common and it's so easy to fall into. And also doing a business plan and thinking about your values and your vision and your mission. You might think, yeah, I did that when I started out my business plan, I don't need to do that again. But then we jump straight to marketing years later, and all of a sudden our marketing's not working and we wonder why. And it's because we've not pulled our business plan into our marketing, we've not pulled the two together, and we've not reviewed what we're doing. So they're the two things that I would recommend kind of to do to get a kickstart with this, and something that you guys can do at home on your own. You don't need to bring someone in to do it for you. It's just stuff that you can be thinking about.
Excellent. Here's a question.
Mm.
What do you think about companies that have been known that their message has been clear forever and a day? Everybody knows what they do, what they stand for, what they're promoting, and then all of a sudden you'll see an ad on TV, and it's not until the very end that you know it's that product because the message is so muddled. I mean, what does that do to brand loyalty? Do people go, well, that's weird. I never really, you know, I don't feel as confident now. I mean, is that just me, or do you ever get that feeling as well? Because I've
Yeah,
seen some adverts, and I'm like, I had no idea that was for that product.
yeah. I get a similar feeling when I see stuff like that. But there is two sides to the coin. So I like watching adverts because I like seeing how businesses have done things. My boyfriend Danny's in marketing as well, so you can imagine, you know, the conversations that we have in between, you know, in between shows or episodes. We'll kind of spot a good advert, or we'll guess the advert, you know, little things like that. And if an advert is really off topic and going off on a tangent, I do sit back and I go, oh, that's a bit, like, you feel like you need more explanation for it. A lot of the time I'll just forget it. But then it can fuel that distrust. But then on the other side of the coin, if it's done right, it can get your attention. So it can block out that mundane, you know, it can make you stop and go, oh, that's new. What is that? But they've got to back it up and have some strategy towards it for it to actually work. Because again, when I mentioned about looking great, but people walking past you and going, oh, that looks great, and picking up your competitor, you know, if there's an advert that doesn't quite align, it might make me go, oh, Samsung, that's weird. Why have you said that? But then I don't do anything about it. But if you've got a strategy towards it, people will go, oh, Samsung, that's interesting, that's new. I'll go on the website and I'll have a look and I'll follow up and I'll take action to it. So yeah, done in the right way, it can be powerful. But when it's just done on a whim or just done to be different, then it kind of just dies at the end. Yeah, does that make sense?
Does. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Yeah, yeah. Was there another part to your question? I'm feeling like I'm forgetting something in my answer, but
that.
I
No,
think
no, no, no. You covered it. That was it.
yeah,
Perfect.
good. So yeah, so brand personas, brand personality, archetypes. Google that, have a look yourself. You know, there's plenty of stuff that I've got as well. So if you're not much of a Googler and you're just like, Jess, just send me something I can read, then drop me a message and I'll do that as well. So yeah, I think I'll wrap it up there. You've had a couple of good tips, some really great examples. Unfortunately, I couldn't show you my slides, but I'll just do that another time. Or like I said, we'll get a catch up and I can show you my slides in a meeting. So yeah, anything else you want to add, Stephen, before we jump off?
No, leave it to the experts. That's what I say. And you've done a great job of explaining everything. Perfect. So yes, archetypes. Didn't know, but now I'll bear that in mind for future.
Amazing. Even when you're watching a film or reading a book, like have a look, you know, have a look at the wheel and then see if you can spot the different characters in there. Because even that's interesting as well, just to see how they come alive. And don't be afraid to think of your brand and your business as a person. You know, your business is the person, your brand, the reputation, the personality, you know, what they're interested in. Think of your business like that, and it makes this stuff so much easier. Amazing.
Perfect.
Well, unfortunately, Una couldn't be with us today, but she will be back in a couple of weeks. And well, are you back with Una next week, Stephen? Or
I'm here next week. Yeah.
yeah,
I think.
I'm away next week, but yeah. But there will be something to share. I'll post this video underneath the original post, so the people that were commenting on there can access it. And yeah, good to see you, Stephen. Good to see you,
And
Liam
you.
and Matt. And see you all soon. Bye.
Have a good day.